The Total War Warhammer series of games is an adaptation of the Warhammer Fantasy Battles universe created by Games Workshop. The games themselves were released to critical acclaim by both PC gamers and Warhammer fans alike. The Warhammer Fantasy world is full of rich lore, but for many, this series of games is their first exposure to this fantastic world. It may be knowledge to some, but for others, it is important to note that Creative Assembly's amazing games are not a 100% carbon copy of the universe the tabletop fans have come to know and love. And for that, I have created this list. Top 5 differences in lore between Total War Warhammer and Warhammer Fantasy Battles. So without further ado, let's begin. Coming in at number 1, we look towards the sire of the von Carstein bloodline, Vlad von Carstein, who in game is playable from the beginning. Canonically, Vlad isn't even alive, or better said, undead at this point of the timeline, having died many years before the ascension of Karl Franz as emperor during an attempt to seize the empire for himself. He was resurrected eventually, during the event known as the End Times, but even this return is still years after from when we see him in game. This leads to number 2, Isabella von Carstein. Yes, I'm cheating a little bit, but Isabella deserves her own slot on this list. While she died shortly after her husband, mere minutes after her beloved husband, and she did indeed get resurrected during the End Times, there are differences. During the start of the End Times, and until very nearly the end, Isabella, or better yet said, Isabella's body, was resurrected and possessed by a demon, until being selflessly saved by her husband Vlad. In game, however, she begins fighting for her undead bloodline, and is available from the start, and there is no mention of her demonic changes. Keeping with the undead theme, we move on to number 3. Lady Dieofin. Did you know our favourite undead opera singer was created exclusively for the DLC between Creative Assembly and Games Workshop? She is 100% an original character for the Total War series, and thus has never appeared before in any books or the tabletop. Moving on to number 4, the Lord of the Hunt himself, Orion. In Total War Warhammer, the player commanding his forces has access to Orion for as long as he likes. But did you know that in the fantasy universe, Orion died every winter and rose again every spring, with each spring seeing the sacrifice of a brave elf who then allows his body to be transformed into Orion? We may not have seasons implemented in Total War Warhammer as of yet, and this may change in the future, but until then, I thought this was a fun thing to point out. Lastly, number 5. Going towards the tabletop game specifically here, did you know that there were army restrictions on the tabletop game that are not available in Total War Warhammer? Yes, I'm talking to you, player who likes to field armies with 19 hell pit abominations. Myself included, to be honest. Point limits and unit limits were created in the tabletop to provide a certain balance. For example, the ever-popular Skaven Plague Monks were considered to be a rare unit, and thus could not be spammed upon the battlefield. Unless that is you fielded Lord Skroak, then you could spam away. I do wish I could field 2000 points of Hell Pit Abominations sometimes, but it can never happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. It was just some fun I wanted to have this week. Is there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments below. There are a number of things that vary in both the PC game and the tabletop universe, so if this is received well by you guys, I may do a part 2, 3 and onwards. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. Once again, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.